All right.
Hey, sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to the live post-game show after the Celtics and Trailblazers game. A very exciting game, another furious and fast-paced half that we got a lot of great ball movement. What do you think the key here was for the Celtics pulling this game out on the road, Dave?
Well, I'm gonna say Marcus Smart and Isaiah Thomas really were the difference makers in this game. Marcus Smart made 8 game-winning plays. You could win the game with guys playing like that in the fourth quarter. And then Isaiah Thomas puts up 15 in the fourth because I guess he's the king in the fourth, right?
It's startling. It really is how good he is at doing that. It's amazing.
Yeah, and again, you pointed this out on Twitter. They know what's coming. It's sort of like rust, right? Like you have to give the guys that when you know what's coming and they still find a way to score, you have to give them credit. And Isaiah Thomas, I mean, he did it again, man. It was fantastic. I thought Jaylen Brown looked pretty good down the stretch. A lot of people on Twitter were kind of giving him a hard time for not finishing these layups through contact, but these weren't there was a lot of contact on those layups. I mean, he's still being fouled, right? Like he went to the free throw line, and it was it's a weird time to point out his layup field goal percentage, but whatever.
I agree. Listen, his future is very bright. He does not look like a scared rookie out there. He looks like a guy who's got a lot of bounce, a lot of skill. Wait, where did he go to Kentucky? Where's he from?
Jaylen Brown went to Cal, didn't he?
Oh, okay, yeah. Because a lot of times you'll see the guys out of Kentucky come out of there, and they're like athletes, whatever. They have no idea how to play. But this guy right away really has a sense. He has a nice post-up game too. We didn't see much of that tonight, but certainly I like Jaylen Brown. But speaking of around the rim, did you see that Gerald Green tip dunk?
Yeah, man. Dude, Gerald Green there should be a clause in his contract that he has to be in a dunk contest every single year. I mean, maybe we just say that until he's 40, he has to be in a dunk contest.
Sounds good to me. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that because he's just he's got hop. We know what the hops are with him. They're quick hops. Doesn't have to really load up too much. Doesn't take too long, and then boom, he's just up and out. And any kind of contact that he gets seems to elevate him another foot.
Yeah,
just amazing.
Yeah, it's insane, and it makes his mid-range pull-up jumper look so great. Unfortunately, he doesn't make it at a high rate, although he hit one tonight. So
yeah, and when he hits them, it looks great. It's hard to understand why it's not more consistent. There's a bit of a shot selection problem, which also is a nice segue to the Portland Trailblazers, where there's just some inexplicable times when they come down and jack like a three. And I guess it's Lillard is really the culprit here. He needs to, whittle away some of those bad shots if they want to stay in these games.
Yeah, at times you can hear Terry Stotts yelling at his team, get a good shot, get a good shot, get a good shot, reset. Because I think these guys sometimes have a tendency to just feel like, hang on, I've got a window, let me put up a shot, no matter what it is, right? We saw a couple of bad mid-range shots that they took that just weren't open. And I think that, you kind of, I don't know, with Dame, he's good enough that you kind of live with some of the bad shots. You just wish that he could make a few more, sort of like he did last year.
I agree. Or, and there even the year before, it seemed like maybe he was even hotter then. And it's been a bit of a lull for him. He's going to have to learn. Now, this also becomes a thing we see on Twitter a lot, which is CJ better than Dame now? And
we just got that question on Periscope.
Yeah. Now, there's no secret that, CJ's a friend of the program, and I certainly watch a lot of his game. I think it's razor thin, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of things that CJ can do on a basketball court that we haven't seen out of Dame. I mean, CJ is elite at getting to the basket, and Dame is not bad at it. He just isn't as good as CJ.
Fair enough.
So, yeah. So, and then CJ's shooting 42% on threes. I really think CJ is more of a one in the traditional sense, where you like primary ball handler, but so is Dame. So I think that and the fact that neither of them can really defend kind of makes it tricky to have them playing together, which is what a lot of people, seem to think, like, as far as, oh, we have to move one of these guys. I think no, not necessarily, but you've got to find a way to kind of stagger their minutes a little bit better.
True, and you know what? They had done that before. They used to do a rotation where they take CJ out with like 6 minutes to go in the first quarter and bring Alan Crabb in there early, and it got screwy a little bit because they brought Evan Turner in, and now that got all the rotations a little bit off. So I agree, because it is a problem as far as the defensive issue. They're going to just try and outscore you, obviously, is what they're going to do when they're both out there. I would say that, Lillard is more like a Russ, and I feel like as far as mentality and the way he plays, and I think that CJ is more like a Chris Paul.
That's interesting. Chris Paul is not really a comparison that I would have thought of, just because Chris Paul has so much of that, like, kind of asshole in him. You know what I mean? Like
okay, yeah.
That kind of, like, I feel like Chris Paul is driven by that a little bit more. I don't know if CJ's kind of got that.
He does not have that at all.
We don't see it on the defensive end.
Right. Oh, no. I mean, and we're talking offense, defense, but we're talking about offense. And but certainly when you watch, like, CJ had a pass to like Aminu for a dunk off of an offensive rebound, and it was just like that kind of. It was almost a no look and a quick boom, and it's those kind of plays that he makes that makes you're right. That give me the insight to think that he is like a natural, like a modern one, a guy that's going to score, but also has the ability to get those 8 or 9 assists a game if he's really the dominant ball handler. Dame, I don't think has ever gotten to 8 assists a game, right? He seems to get stuck on sort of 6 or 7 a game. I'm kind of really quickly looking that up, but doesn't that feel right to you?
I can pull that up too.
It's a race.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, you kind of want these guys to all be able to do everything, and unfortunately, like, that's just not a thing. For his career, he's averaging 6 assists a game, which it's not bad. Like, I think Steph is at like 6.
Yeah.
But then again, Steph is a little bit higher efficiency player and plays better defense. So.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm looking at this new thing because we have a chance to go to Twitter. And I think this is going to work. It says if we go live, we'll be able to see some of the questions that are using the hashtag #BBallShow. Should we try it?
Let's try it.
And we'll figure that out. So don't worry. This is live TV. We will eventually figure out how to make the Twitter questions work. But as a result, we can still read them. And we have a couple here. So we have Asaf Shitreed asks, do you think that trading Melo would be a good decision for the Knicks? Yes, it would be a terrific decision if they could trade him today.
Yeah, of course, yes, it would be a great decision for the Knicks. Problem is, Phil Jackson took that decision out of the Knicks' hands when he gave Melo the no trade clause. So, good luck with that.
Right, and it was all to save like $4 or $5 million. And I think it would have been fine to just max him, and as long as they had that control where they could trade him. And so here they are. And by the way, I think it's proved right what we were saying all along, which was that Phil's incendiary comments against LeBron and Melo were all designed to get Melo to want to leave. It's kind of worked, but they still don't have a trade partner to deal with, because I don't think the Cavs. I don't think the Cavs aren't going to make it work, but certainly the Clippers. The deal that you hear that makes it work with the contracts is terrible. It's like Jamal Crawford, Wes Johnson, and Austin Rivers. It's like, you know what? You might as well just keep Melo. I don't know. It's not worth it at all. So they're screwed. We have another question from We Ain't Friends, who asks, and then a similar question. It seems like the Knicks will make a lineup change and move KP to 5 and Melo to 4. Will that drastically improve their record? I don't know if it's going to improve the record, but I think they'll play better that way. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, that's how it should have been this whole time. Like the Noah signing, the biggest problem beyond the money and the years and just signing Noah in general, the biggest problem was it signaled that the upper management and the coaching staff, I'm assuming that the coaching staff was involved in this, saw KP as a 4 when his value is as a stretch 5. And the other night, all their best minutes, like when they were actually winning the basketball game the other night against the Clippers, KP was the 5, and he played well. I think that he needs to be kind of that guy. And he's not really allowed to be if he's playing the 4, especially next to Melo, who is a 4. So it gets tricky. You get too many guys with like similar skill sets.
Absolutely. And all I can tell you is that when I see KP come down on the trail and hit a 3, when his man, if he's playing the 5, his man is in the lane like he normally would be used to doing, that's why you want to play him there. And again, there's 4 players in the league that are going to destroy him down low that he can't handle. And by the way, they might destroy him down low, but he'll get his block or two, or he'll get him to miss some shots. So I'm not worried about that so much. And as a result, the Knicks are struggling from that, from not quite getting him in the right spot. But we've seen this happen over and over again.
Well, the blueprint is in Philly. You look at Embiid, and like when he acts as the trailer, and his man closes out hard, he gives him the nice pump fake and goes right around him, and everybody's like oohing and ahhing. And it's a very simple move. We just don't see guys his size do it. Well, KP can do that too, and he can't do it from the 4 because the opportunity's not there. Not to mention, it's probably going to be a quicker guy guarding him.
Right. Absolutely.
So
the 4. Any normal 4 is going to be aware enough and used to, guarding his man quicker and closer to the 3-point line. Now, again, that could change, and his man, will DeAndre Jordan ever be aware enough to be like, wait, I got to stop above the free throw line and pick my man up because it's KP? I don't know. Like that kind of center doesn't seem to ever really adjust very well to that. And at least now, maybe in a few years, it's simply going to be the way you have to play. You simply cannot run to the lane anymore, as most of the wings can't do anyway. But as of now, you got to use what you got, and that's certainly the huge advantage for them that they need to use. Yeah.
So some questions are starting to roll in on Periscope. Do you want to answer?
Yeah. Let's grab them.
So someone asked, and I missed the name because, again, the questions just go flying by. But are the Wizards a legitimate threat to the Cavs in the East? I think we talked about this a little the other night. Absolutely. They are, of any team in the East, I think that they are the biggest threat.
The Wizards, absolutely. I mean, I think we've been talking about them a lot this week. And they offer, again, Mahimi came back, or he's coming back tomorrow, I think, right?
Right.
We're going to get a chance to see him, and what he can do. Again, he's an upgrade to Jason Smith. That's probably all they need. And John Wall, I mean, they have all they can give the Cavs all they can handle, I think, across the board. And they actually do have a little playoff experience from 2 years ago, right?
Yes, they did. I mean, they actually had a really nice run there when the season Paul Pierce was there.
Yes. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, they won a 7-game series, right? So there's actually, because I wouldn't even say, John Wall and Beal don't have, they're green, but they're not. And so they are poised to be able to handle them. The only question now is when they're going to play them, because I don't think, can anyone else beat the Wizards in a first-round matchup?
I don't think so. Not any of those teams that are down at the bottom of the East. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. And right now, if we check the standings, I'm kind of curious what they look like right now. I mean, there's no way they're going to be the same way at the end of the year. But as it is now, the Wizards are third, tied with the Raptors now, and then the Hawks are only a half game behind. So it's really bunched up 3, 4, 5. And then it's not that far down from 6, 7, and 8 either. So this is going to be really interesting. By the way, this is a huge win for the Celtics. Right, they got stung by the Kings without Boogie to open this trip, and this easily down 17 would have been another bad loss for them, and now maybe they don't even win a game on this trip. But they win that game, and now they maintain their lead. So that wasn't said enough. That was a huge win for the Celtics.
Yeah, I agree. Especially second night of a back-to-back, it's easy to write it off as just a scheduled loss. Got another question in the NBA. This is from. S Boy Ages Promos.
Wow.
How many wins is a good coach worth in the NBA? And they mentioned Brad Stevens. To me, the fastest horses typically are going to win the race, but a good coach can win you somewhere between 5 and 10 games a year.
Well, I think it's a little high. I don't know if it's 10, but
in the middle there.
Okay, it might get to 5. Remember, Michael Jordan alone probably won them 7, 8 games.
Yeah.
But either way, I think where the biggest value is, first of all, I love their offense, and it's triangle-ish, and it's spread, and it's motion, but it's the out-of-timeout plays. Not even at the end of the game, which are also, he's won games that way with out-of-bounds plays, but it's the out-of-timeout plays they run. Them and the Warriors are neck and neck for who does it better. But those are not, it's not free points, but it's like there are enough teams that simply inbound the ball and just are content to run a play out of that instead of actually attacking within 2 passes from the position and getting a good shot. And that's where they're manufacturing more shots than a lot of other, more points than a lot of other teams. And I'm telling you, in a 4 or 5 point game, that's really a big deal.
Agreed. So another question from I am Earnestful. He asks, or I'm assuming he. Sorry if you're not. Can Oklahoma City, coming off the win tonight against the Cavs, can they possibly win on Saturday against the Warriors? I'm going to say no, because I think this is just as emotional of a game for the Warriors because of their ability to rally around Kevin Durant. Also, they're just a much better team. Right. The one thing that I worry about with the Warriors is that they will be playing Memphis tomorrow. So the OKC game is second night of a back-to-back on the road, and Memphis has already beaten them twice. Memphis is a really tough matchup for the Warriors. So, coming off of that, where if they lose, well, that they're going to blow out the Thunder. But if they win, that's going to be a huge drain for them. Remember, no Zaza, and who else was out? David West is still out.
Yeah.
So, without those 2 bigs, it's going to be a lot of JaVale and James Michael McAdoo. So, we'll see. I think that, any given night, every team has a shot, but I would lean toward no.
Yeah. It's also going to be a lot of handsiness going on there on Steph and Klay and those guys, and we'll have to fight through it. Now, I wouldn't be surprised maybe if Kerr finds some rest for 1 or 2 of those guys on that game. I know KD will definitely play on Saturday, but you never know. He might pull a pop and just sort of say, hey, we're going to rest these guys in the second night of a back-to-back and kind of concede it or see what happens. But either way, it almost still feels like the Warriors have enough. But you're right. The second of a back-to-back is always very difficult. Good question.
Yeah. Let's see.
Let's go to Twitter because we still have a couple questions here. Nikhil Attar, my old buddy, asked a question. How did the Cavs frustrate the Warriors' offense last year? Can this be done again with this lineup? Same for the Warriors' defense. Well, the answer for the Cavs and the Warriors was just, again, how physical they were. We're going to see Memphis lay the blueprint on Friday, and they just took them out. And the only problem that I had with the Warriors' offense was they kept letting Steph go off ball so much. That's where they can rough him up. If he has the ball attacking, that's going to be a foul. They try and do that, and yet they continue to get him off ball and off screens, and that was a recipe for troubling results.
Yeah, I agree. I have nothing else to add. Good job.
Not even like a FU or anything?
No. You just you took
Where's
all my
headband.
Oh, don't worry, man. It's here.
Oh, hey, there we go. All right.
Now I'm back in action.
Keep that sweat off your dome.
Someone asked who is a player comp for Jaylen Brown, and then someone said Wilson Chandler. I actually think he's got a little bit more offensive talent off the dribble than Wilson Chandler. I think he has higher potential. I don't know. It's tough to tell. It's his first year. He's not playing a ton. He's playing more now than he was. But I don't know. I love his jump shot, and I love his athleticism. So I think the sky is the limit. If you told me that in 5 years he's one of the top 25 players in the league, I wouldn't be shocked.
Wow. All right. Well, hey, give us some hearts for that bold prediction. I love the hearts. Let me see some of those on
Yeah.
Periscope, guys. Jaylen Brown. I mean, Wilson Chandler, I think, is taller than Jaylen Brown, right? He's like longer, right? Is like by a
Yeah.
significant amount.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. I think Jaylen Brown's like 6'9". I think Chandler's
Oh, is
six
he
seven.
really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown
Hey,
looks shorter than that to me.
yeah. Well, he's skinny. So once he fills out some, I think he'll look a little bit bigger. So have you had a chance to watch? We just got asked about this, and people have been asking me all day. Did you watch the LaMelo Ball?
Okay, so
Okay.
I got a hold of the footage they sent over from Crossover. So I haven't gone through the raw because I really just kind of want to see the game. I did see the highlights though, and then I
Yeah.
did see the edit where they showed, I don't know, I mean, I must have watched 10 or 12 of his field goals where he never even crossed half court to play defense before getting the ball back and scoring. I think we were both pretty troubled by that, wouldn't you
Yeah.
say?
Well, look, this is what Chino does. I mean, and I don't know the coach. I don't know anyone associated with the program or anything like that. But what I've seen is that they are looking for headlines. I mean, his brother scored 72 or whatever earlier in the year. Against bad teams, this is how they play.
Yeah.
They play 4-on-5 defense, if you can call the layup line that their defense is. They literally just allow layups. Unless they can block it, and then that's it. If they don't get a block, it's a wide open layup. And then they immediately turn an outlet pass to the guy who's cherry picking, and he gets a layup. And those referees call tons of fouls in that league, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's garbage. Like, it's hollow. And I don't care. Like, I am far from, like, the fun police when it comes to basketball. My guys' team, they shot 48 threes in 32 minutes in our last game. So, like, I am all about fun and gun and let's make it fun. That didn't look fun. I actually feel bad for LaMelo because I don't know any kid that would ask to do that. That's not basketball.
Right.
But he wasn't playing. He was just shooting layups. That's it.
Right. And just jacking up threes. I'm not even sure he got sweaty. Like, that's how little effort it looked like he was giving out. And that's what I've seen a lot. I have seen them play against better teams where they actually do exert effort, but more on the offensive end than the defensive end. But yeah, that was ridiculous. Now, the other argument is that team that they played was probably going to get destroyed. So he must have said, you know what, we're just going to run with them, and we're going to lose 145 to 110 or whatever the score was.
I think it was 142 to 123. They scored, the teams combined for like 8.5 points per minute.
Yeah. And
It's
so
ridiculous.
the other team, they could have tried to slow it down and lose 100 to 65 or 70, and everyone's going to walk out of there upset, But, in theory, you play a game and you lose 140 to 120, whatever it is. Like, okay, I think the kids will feel like they actually played a game and they did something out there. But either way, I wouldn't mind the way they play the offense if they showed some hustle and they actually played defense a little bit.
Sure.
But because they're not doing that, it is hollow. Now, that said, LaMelo is a very talented, very skilled player. And it'll translate, But again, I want to see the kid when they got two Division I players going against another team and a really good team that can actually, finish. Because what you see in those highlights is that these kids are getting the basket easy, like you mentioned, and they're blowing layups, they're blowing easy shots that they couldn't make because they're going too fast. That'll hurt them.
Chino plays a national schedule. They're like the third-ranked team in the country. So, like, I'm not saying that they're not a good basketball team. I'm not saying that their coach is no good. And I'm not saying LaMelo's no good. I mean, the guy's – he can play. He's got really great court vision. I just think that this performance – I mean, it was embarrassing to watch, man. Like, I felt bad for the kid. And, if I had anything to do with that program, I would have to reconsider my relationship with the program after something like that. Like, I don't know. I think it's garbage.
Yeah. I mean, right. That's how they play. It's you can't argue with the results, but you certainly can argue the process. And whether or not it's really teaching. At the high school level, this is an opportunity to teach players a lot about the game and a lot about life and a lot about how you want to approach things. They're not quite doing that with this, and we'll see. But again, we can't stress enough. They are playing the top teams.
They were all over the internet. Like, I mean, everything in life now is just about going viral, and they did it. So congratulations, I guess.
Right.
So back to the NBA. Corey is so magic asks if what superstar the Celtics have a legitimate chance at trading for. Um, well, I mean,
Melo?
I would say Jimmy Butler
Yeah, but they'd
is
have to give up
legitimate.
Crowder, right?
Yeah, well, in any of these trades, they're probably gonna have to give up Crowder.
And that's too bad because I love Crowder. I wouldn't want to see him leave.
Well, he's fantastic, and they were missing him tonight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also Avery Bradley. By the way, that's the big elephant in the room. They won on the road against a tough Portland team without Crowder, without Avery Bradley. That's big.
Yeah,
But you know what? And this whole Isaiah Thomas can't play defense thing, I think, is going to be. I'm confident that Brad Stevens is going to figure out the lineups that he needs to play the most that will mitigate those issues.
so you're saying that he's going to cut Isaiah Thomas's minutes?
No, he might cut the starting five's minutes if that's the starting five. I have to look now because I did find some lineups with Isaiah in it that were good defensively.
Oh,
So I think
okay.
it's just a question of finding out. It might have been tiny sample size when I did it like 3 weeks ago, but
I guess.
I suspect we can find 2 or 3 juicy lineups that have played enough minutes that you can say, okay, those are the ones they might need to run, or at least really dissect and find out why and who, and then make sure that you run that out a little bit more than maybe they were, and that will balance it out. Although invariably you might end up having to change the starting lineup too.
That is possible. And I missed who it was, but someone asked if the Warriors should go out and trade for a big if they lose to Memphis tomorrow. This is an easy answer. No, you don't make decisions like that based on one game.
Especially when you're shorthanded with the bigs anyway.
Yeah, and they're 45-8 or whatever they are. So no, I don't think so. Let's see.
Here's a good question on Twitter that Ernestful asks: should the Raptors trade Terrence Ross?
That's tricky, man, because I actually think that Terrence Ross has been really good for them this year, and wing depth is important. I think he also asked if they should trade Patrick Patterson, if it's the same question I'm thinking of, or at least he asked that in here.
Okay.
I think Ross has been good, but if you're saying between Ross and Patterson, well then yeah, definitely trade Patterson. I mean Ross, not Patterson. Keep Patterson, trade Ross.
Okay.
If those are my options. But I think that they've got pieces. I would be looking to move Valanciunas if I were them. I like Bebe with their other starters better, just because Valanciunas just kind of slows the offense down and doesn't move the needle for me on defense. So yeah, definitely keep Patterson, and if you have to trade one of those two, trade Ross.
Okay. I mean, the Nogueira thing in front of Valanciunas is a very intriguing thing because I think that Valanciunas probably has some value. People would want him, I think. But there's something is afoot in Toronto, worthy of a breakdown, and they have really been playing poorly recently. So I'm gonna have to dig into that. But I'm supposed to get the Miami Heat breakdown done. I've been postponing it for days because all this other stuff keeps happening. And you know what? I was almost gonna have to do another one tonight, but I'm gonna do the Heat one tomorrow. I promise. It's 2 words: James Johnson. That's the key here. We noticed.
Yeah. Well, and don't forget Willie Reed.
And two more words. Willie Reed.
Hang on. And Eric Spoelstra.
And Eric Spoelstra. All right, we'll give him a nod as well. I mean, it's really just one lineup and one, giving more minutes to those two guys. It seems like the only difference, as far as looking at the numbers. Now I'm going to dig into the footage tomorrow and get it out. But so make sure you stay tuned to that. What do you say? You want to wrap it up? Maybe are there like 1 or 2 more questions we can answer?
Yeah. Let's do like 2 more. Someone asked what the Rockets' ceiling would be if they got Ibaka. I think that puts them right behind Golden State if they could get Ibaka.
Who can get him?
The Rockets.
That's an interesting question. Now Ibaka then provides that 4 and 5, very versatile. He can shoot it in the corners. Yeah. Now,
a 3-point shooting, better defensive Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah. Now, who do they have to give up to get him, though?
Well, so that's the question. And, I mean, it's the Magic. So, like, they probably want Capella because they want to get every center in the league.
Right.
I don't know. That's the thing about, like, the Rockets. Like, they don't really have a ton of things that they should give up.
Well, Ibaka makes 20, I think, right? Does he make?
I think he's 16,
All right,
18.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a ton.
And so it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think the Rockets would want to touch too much, but correct me if I'm wrong. They've been on a downturn recently, right?
Yeah, they've had a rough last 15 games or so.
Wait a minute. I have here on B-Ball Reference, he's only making 12.2.
Maybe.
No, wait, 16, 17. Yeah, this year he's only making 12.25. That's really low. Like
That
I
is
thought
low.
that was low. I thought he got more than that. But
I thought you did too.
well, I guess we can have to check that later on. But if that's all, okay, then there's something there. Then he's definitely a viable, trade candidate. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, no, they don't want a center, so it's going to have to be. They can't trade Gordon. They can't trade Anderson. Then no one wants Corey Brewer. Like I don't know what that's going to be.
Yeah, so I don't know that they've got the stuff to make that deal. But I think, Ibaka would work great there.
Somebody asked, do we believe that he's really 33?
I don't know. I don't want to speculate.
I will. Let's see here. How old do they think he is? Right now he is...
They're saying 27.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, because, the decline in his athletic ability would happen so fast. I mean,
Sure.
That's true, but it would be hard to believe that he's like 6 years older than they said he was. And that, right? That's kind of stretching it. Maybe, I think.
He's got like a son that's really old.
Does he really?
Yeah, like he's got like a 16-year-old son or something ridiculous like that. Yeah,
Interesting.
I don't know.
All right.
We're starting rumors now, so I don't want to do that.
All right, fine. No worries. All right, last question.
So
what do you
let's
have
do
for
one
us?
more question. Next one on Periscope.
Do you think a star will get moved before the trade deadline?
A star will get moved before the trade deadline. You know what? Yes.
You think
I
Melo?
think we're gonna have. I don't know if it's gonna be Melo. I think Melo might outlast Phil Jackson in New York just for spite.
Right.
Blake Griffin
Yeah.
to me is the dark horse to get traded.
Yeah, but now you got to rely on Doc being able to actually pull that off, and I don't know if he can. But having been the Clippers GM in our wonderful series that Jesse Blanchard put together on bballbreakdown.com, that you have to check out because we assigned 30 people to be GMs of all the teams, and we just had this. It was insane. It jumped the shark quite a bit, but still it was fun, and people were really loving it. I was a GM of the Clippers, and I could not move Blake. $20 million, declining athletic ability, doesn't shoot threes, doesn't play defense that great. There was not a huge market, and I'm starting to wonder if that's really what's going on here. Otherwise, we would have seen him moved already.
Yeah. But so that's my. I think that's my like dark horse.
Yeah.
Superstar to get traded if Blake is a superstar, which he probably is.
Yeah, remember the superstar. The definition of that for me, a lot of it has to do with marketability and what
Sure.
you're doing. On whatever in his commercials. I haven't seen one in a while, but certainly, that. I mean, when they asked about Russ, if he was a superstar, the answer is absolutely because first of all, he is on the court, but what he can do on those commercials, we saw one tonight. That
Oh
was
my God, I
hilarious.
loved it.
Yeah,
I love it. It's such a great commercial.
Yeah, and so it's
Yeah.
like I'm wondering, for all the things that Russ frustrates me with, and how he might hate me, and if he ever saw how I talk, break his game down. But I don't know. I almost feel like he might be really kind of fun to hang out with.
I
nutty,
think Russ is probably like a super likable dude. And I love to watch him play. Like the second half tonight, like he was electric.
Yeah,
It's fantastic. And I'll tell you what, he's as far as from an attitude standpoint, now the performance is catching up. I mean, he's been just on fire in fourth quarters. Mm-hmm. He might be the one guy, like if you got one shot, you got to take one shot. He might be the guy you want to give it to. Like just from sheer force of will,
Yeah, you're right. Like you kind of wish if Steph Curry could have that or KD, they don't have that. Like Michael Jordan had that.
Right. Yeah. Killer instinct. Yeah, exactly.
And plus Michael Jordan and Russ had that physical. I think Kurt talked about it on the Simmons podcast today. I was listening to where he said, KD has probably more skill than. I don't know if he has more skill than Michael, but certainly, he has a lot of skill in those guys. But they don't have that brute strength I am simply going to go there, and you're not going to stop me no matter what. And Russ has that. And
Right.
so, yeah, I mean, there's a decision-making issue there, which tends to get him into trouble. But I don't know. It's interesting. Well, we'll have to find out. But speaking of electric, this is another electric post-game show we had between you and I. I think everyone was loving it. Really fantastic stuff. And just to remind you guys, what our plan is going to be is Monday and Wednesdays, we're going to try and do these live shows. So you'll always know, it's Monday, or, hey, it's Wednesday. Coach Dave and Coach Nick will be out here live. And now that we can get it up on YouTube and Periscope and Facebook all at the same time, and maybe a couple other places too, you'll be able to find us a lot easier. So, love in the hearts. Thank you for giving us that on Periscope. And make sure that you go and subscribe to that new YouTube channel if you can. We'd love to get a lot of subscribers there and get that built up as well, because that'll be the repository for all of our live stuff and any other extra bonus features we want to add.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is so much fun. Like, I love this, and the fact that people can just ask us questions right in Periscope is fantastic. Like, this is the best.
Yeah, if only we could
the next thing we got to do.
Yeah.
The next thing we got to do is we got to call the games live over Periscope.
Right. There's a delay though. That's the problem. We got to figure out how to overcome the delay. But we'll there must be some answer to that. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll have to go to the arena.
That might do. Yeah, maybe that'll do it. All right, we'll figure that out. But good suggestions, all great questions, and don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Dave?
Yes, I am.